Hi, everybody. Jack O'Malley, and it is a Wednesday update. Coming a little late. That's because we just got out of session. We're now sort of kind of officially on summer break. We've got some dates on the calendar. We'll be back this summer, but it is our opportunity to get back to our districts and visit with people and do all those good things and not be in Lansing, which is a big plus. But yeah, I'm ready. It's been, when you look at the COVID year, and then this first 6 months, we haven't had a break. And I'm looking forward to a nice, quiet holiday weekend and enjoy the family and then kind of refresh and get back at it. So, yeah, looking forward to it. I hope everybody has a good Independence Day weekend. We'll talk more about that in just a second. Just want to touch base on some of the things that happened today as we were wrapping up. There's still more budget talks to discuss and that sort of thing. But today we wanted to get out that school budget and some of the other supplementals that will keep things funded and use some of that federal money that's out there. The big thing today was we passed the school aid K through 12 that now has gotten equal student per pupil funding across the state, $8,700 per student everywhere. And that's fantastic. It's only taken 25 years since Proposal A came into effect that we've been able to do that. So that is kind of a historic thing, most definitely. Also, we passed the bill today that would create that $10 or $10 million pot of money that would say, all right, look, auto no fault, everything is staying the same. We're not changing the law. But we'll have this money set aside so that if there is an issue where providers aren't being paid, we can use this fund and it will give us an opportunity to see if there is a problem. Many believe there won't be, but some obviously believe there will be. And they were, of course, alerting their patients and potentially scaring them. But now we'll be able to see we've got the money set aside to cover. If there's an issue, we'll deal with it. But if there isn't an issue, we're not going to change the law. So I think that was a good compromise, and that will go into effect immediately. So that's good news there. What else we got here? I'll come back to that in a second. That's what I just spoke on. Interesting, on the COVID front, Michigan is averaging 167 new COVID-19 cases per day, but according to data compiled by the New York Times, more than half of Michigan's 83 counties are averaging less than one case per day over the last week. Overall, 47 counties fall within this category. Grand Traverse, Charlevoix, Alpena, Manistee, St. Clair, and Hillsdale. 15 counties of which, of course, are in Nuckolls North. Haven't had a positive COVID-19 test in over a week. So good news there. Let's see here. This is one I thought was kind of interesting. They did a study. The almost 70% of the transactions in Michigan's cannabis market happen outside, aka the black market, of the medical or adult use market, and therefore not subject to safety testing, nor do they produce any tax revenue that goes to schools, roads, etc. Illicit sales and home cultivation for adult use make up 39% of the market, worth $1.2 billion in 2020, according to estimates. Cannabis grown by caregivers and home cultivation for medical use makes up about 30% of the market, $930 million. Adult use retail stores make up only 15% of the market. So this was one of the concerns about the marijuana law, was that you're smoking it, you're using it. How do you know that it's legal or not, right? Plus, you have no idea where it was grown from, and so the safety issues are taken into effect. So it'll be interesting to see how this all works out and how things might need to be changed moving forward. But just an interesting thing. Again, I'm kind of bouncing around. I want to touch on things. All right, I'll save that for last. Back to COVID for just a second here. we were chatting. There was some discussion amongst members that on the COVID front, we're starting to open up. We're getting back to normal, but we still hear Delta variant. Oh, the Delta variant. There's variants out there, and what many of us worry is because of COVID, the fear was a big motivator. Fear was used to get people to do things they probably normally wouldn't have done. And I don't want to go back and rehash all of that, but I want to move forward here. The question about COVID is COVID still this pandemic that's out there? There's variants now that we must deal with. Well, here's the thought on that. Is COVID now just an ordinary disease, illness of life, like lots of other things? I'm not comparing them exactly, but remember AIDS? AIDS was basically a death sentence. But through the years, we found medications, people who do get it, can be treated. And life expectancy, as I understand it, is pretty darn good. So AIDS, still not good, but is not as bad as it was maybe 30 years ago. So here we are with COVID, wear a mask, social distance. But now we've got these variants. In Israel, they just reinstated their indoor mask mandate nationally due to a couple of hundred cases and 23 people hospitalized. Now, Israel is about the same size as the state of Michigan. They've got a couple of hundred cases. Most of them are asymptomatic. And if they are showing any symptoms, they're mild. So they've got a couple of hundred this Delta variant case. They got 23 people hospitalized, and they're slipping back. Oh, we got to be careful. It's the COVID variant. The question we have to start asking ourselves is, are we going to, every time we hear the word COVID, just knee-jerk, or do we realize that this is now with us? We have vaccines, we have treatments. And here's something else to think about. Every year, there are flu vaccines, and every year that vaccine is different. Why? Because the flu is now an ordinary illness of life, and every year the flu has a variant. And that's why you get a vaccine for that variant if you choose to get the vaccine. Because every year it's different. And sometimes our medical world, most of the times with that vaccine, they do a pretty good job with the flu vaccine. Yay, we did it right. Every once in a while they miss, and the variant isn't exactly what they thought it was, so the flu vaccination, the flu shot, is less effective. But what they're dealing with is a variant of influenza. So as we move forward, and I know people are still a little leery, many are still leery of COVID, I say stand strong. Don't live in fear. Let's pay attention. Let's see what happens. But our medical community, God love them, many of them are like, COVID-19. Again, I think we just need to use common sense. This Delta variant right now is not seeming to be the death sentence, right? So let's move forward. Let's be smart as we think through things, all right? All right, a couple other things that I think are important, that I think are interesting. I live in the 101st District, Benzie County, and our neighboring district is the 104th, which is Grand Traverse County. And this weekend, it kicks off the National Cherry Festival. Of course, the Cherry Festival covers the whole region. And it looks as if the Cherry Festival is going to have a couple of VIP visitors. Governor Whitmer will be there, and she will be hosting the President of the United States, Joe Biden. Now, Joe is coming because it's his America Open Up tour or some crazy thing that they're talking about. See, we're healthy and we're there and we're going to be open. So he's sending his people all over to tout that America's open again. Fine. I got no problem with that, I guess. But the interesting thing is they're going to be in Traverse, and it's like, President, I'd like you to consider some things. One, your administration has put a lot of, they've had the Army Corps of Engineers slow the tunnel project almost to, well, I think they basically stalled the Line 5 tunnel project now, wanting more impact studies, et cetera, et cetera. No, you're not helping us there. Also, we're open back up, but the problem that we're facing is that we don't have workers. And I say this to everybody who might be heading north for the holiday weekend. Come north, we love you, we appreciate you. But realize that there may be delays. Stores and restaurants might not be open their normal hours because they just don't have the workers. And one of the things that I think is funny is, and not funny, haha, and that reminded me of something else I want to mention to you too, is that the governor, we've sent her a bill that we've sent it to Senate, they're sending it over, that would pull back the $300 federal unemployment money. 21 other states have done that, and 21 other states have seen an increase in their workforce. So as you head north and Joe Biden is opening up America, realize that this federal extra money is hurting our employment situation. So keep that in mind if you're waiting an hour and a half to get into a restaurant, or if the store place you want to visit this holiday weekend isn't open as late as you'd like. It's because they don't have the workers. Something to consider. And with that in mind, I want to mention this too. We sent a couple of bills up to the governor that would have given sales tax exemption and use tax exemptions to certain personnel and protective PPE stuff. Because it's like, oh, wait a minute here. We forced this on them. They needed to get it, but yet we're charging them sales tax and use tax on something like this. So we were saying, hey, let's give our small business, our big business, everybody who had to buy all of this PPE, you didn't have to pay sales tax and stuff on it, okay? Save you a few bucks. The governor vetoed it. So today, now remember, a month or so ago when we passed this, it passed overwhelming in the House of Representatives, right? There's 110 of us. It was 90, maybe even 100 said yes. Today, we tried to override the governor's veto. And once again, my Democratic colleagues, only a couple, joined us in the override. So two bills that passed 100 and something to almost nothing. Today, we couldn't muster the 73 votes for the override. And what shocked me was, one of the bill sponsors was a Democrat. So one of these bills that we were trying to override, that she was willing to sponsor a few weeks ago, she even voted against the override. So I say, as we move through this, and again, why can't you do this against the governor? Is because even on bills that my Democratic colleagues voted overwhelmingly on, they won't override a veto. Interesting times. All right. Have a safe Independence Day weekend. I think it's important. This is always been my opinion that this is the American holiday. I'm an Irish American. St. Patrick's Day is fun, but I was born in the United States, not the Emerald Isle. So America is my home, and Independence Day is a very special day to me. This is the day that the great experiment began, and we got our bumps and bruises, and we've got our blemishes, but I think we are doing a great job, and that's something that we need to realize as we move forward with all that we have facing us. All right, so gone a little long. Check in with you next Wednesday, but I'm ready to head north and leave Lansing for a few weeks. I'm ready to be home in the north, so I'm out of here. Have a safe, happy, and celebratory Independence Day weekend. Take care.